Welcome to Satsang. Each and every satsang is different. In the morning, there was so much talking. In the morning, there was so much discussion, questioning, understanding, using logic, reasoning. But sometimes the silence doesn't want to be broken. And I don't decide what to say. If silence wants to express itself in silence and not through words. Let that be. Let that be so. And it's also the people that are here. the most helpful thing that is needed, what is required for whoever is here, is what flows. At any moment, if a question arises, please feel free to come take the chair. It's not an electric chair. Even though for the ego it looks like it sometimes. To bring things into the light is for the ego equivalent to death in its imagination. There's so much fear. Fear of the light. Fear of the unknown. Fear of the light. It could be a question, it could be something that we just want to bring awareness to. This is a powerful place because of how much light there is. Oh, gosh. Nothing can go unseen. And transformation can happen when we bring things out of the shadow into awareness. Namaste, everybody. My name is Ra. And I'm here to offer what is already here. Maybe to make it a little more obvious that it's here. When we explore it together, it's easier to see. Not that you're not capable of doing it by yourself. But sometimes a helping hand goes a long way. I know because I received that kind of help. Which helped me see what has always been present, which was always in everything I saw, in everything I did, in everything I perceived. Just hidden in plain sight. That's the beauty of it. You can go your entire life having this treasure within, carrying it around everywhere you go. Without having an inkling, a clue that you have it within you. And the ego is so funny, even when it starts looking for it. Even when it realizes there is something more than just this material reality. And really desperately tries to find it. Even then, it finds a way to hide it from itself. All for the sake of this beautiful journey. Of pretending to lose it and then finding it again. While all the way being it. So funny. So perfect. If it was any other way, it just wouldn't have worked. Usually when my students from California join, I lead them through a guided meditation. But this satsang is for those who have lived in Tiruvannamalai. For those who have become mature with the guidance of the mountain, the light of the mountain transforming you. And it feels so different. It feels so different. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Hmm. 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 If I stayed silent for this long with my students from USA, they would probably be confused. Hmm. 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 Hopefully, they will come to that place soon. Hmm. Hmm. Even Dakshinamurti, before he taught his students through silence, before they became mature enough, use the medium of language. It's a very limited medium, but until one can receive what is being offered through silence, that's what we have. Mm. 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 Please have a seat. Oh, so because of the length of the cable, we have to share a mic. You, yes, yes. You don't mind sharing, do you? Yeah.
As long as you're not spitting in it. I won't spit, promise. Yeah, so as beautiful as this silence is, when you mentioned Dakshinamurti, I remembered this one thing I wanted to clarify with someone, and since, as I've mentioned, that I find you accessible, approachable, and maybe this is the right time to even break the silence, even for the US students' sake.
Yeah, it's helpful for them.
Helpful. Yeah, so it's. I don't remember if I've tried to clarify this with anyone, and even if I did, I don't remember the answer. So I've heard it. I first time heard it on, when I first started meditating years ago, and from my own teacher, and since then I've heard it from many people around here. That what we call total full self-realization or enlightenment, or I'm not even sure what word to use, but I think what I clearly understand is total dissolution of the ego is not possible, according to a lot of people. It's not possible without a living guru. And at first I didn't want to believe that. Because I think it's the gurus who are probably saying that. I don't know, it's just
marketing, huh? Rumors started by
I'm a little
benefit from it.
I'm a little skeptical sometimes. But then I don't know. I don't know. So yeah. Your thoughts?
Hmm. 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 When the ego has been beaten back, when the ego has lost so much territory that it's retreating, even when it's painted into the corner,
Painted? You mean pinned into it?
Yeah.
Pinned into it.
Painted into the corner. And that's reference to something I don't remember right now, but yeah. When it's pinned with its back on the wall to the corner. If you don't have the right guidance by someone who can see it clearly, the ego can find a way to sabotage. Even when all this progress has been made, there can be a way to ignore it and find a way to still hold control for the ego. But I don't know if it's completely impossible to dissolve the ego without the guidance of a guru. Yes, there are instances where that has happened, but it's definitely so much more easier when you have that support, because the ego really desperately wants to survive. And it can use even the most beautiful insight, even when you have awakened your seeing, even when you can see that it's not true to believe in a thought, a story, the ego can pervert it into something that looks like the dharma, looks like the truth, if you're not vigilant. Mm. And sometimes you can go for a while doing that until you realize that, even when your seeing has awakened, you're able to see what is the truth and what is not. Mm. Mm. Life can really, help in so many different ways, even without the help of a guru, but the help of a guru is invaluable. Hmm. Hmm.
So you mean to say a guru?
A guru. A guru is important, at least when you are following one guru and you're not going from guru to guru to guru, or just kind of listening to different gurus on the internet, etc. What happens then is the ego has a bigger loophole to exploit. Because if you don't like what this guru is saying, you go to the next one, and then you'll never have to face your whatever is uncomfortable for you. Test your guru before you say this is my guru. But once you find that one person who really speaks to you, who you can see that life is presenting that person to you as the guide on this path. Yeah. If you don't surrender to that guru, what happens is that the ego still has a way to fool you. Because when you say, I give permission to this embodiment of enlightenment to speak to me, to correct me, to show me the way, and if needed, to even give corrections which are hard sometimes. There are beautiful guidances, and sometimes there are wrathful teachings. And sometimes those wrathful teachings are what we are avoiding when we try to stay as a freelancer. Because the ego is not ready to go full time yet, It wants enlightenment, it wants to end the suffering, but doesn't want it enough to face things that are difficult. So it finds a way to convince you that you're making progress. Saying that, if you just follow the signs, follow your heart, Ramana will guide you, Arunachala will guide you. That's true. That's very, very true. I'm not saying it's not. It does happen. I myself have found that guidance. Sitting and meditating in the meditation hall, I've received guidance which was so clear, as if Ramana was right there. And sitting on the mountain, I've seen insights which have guided me. But if your ego doesn't want to hear it, it can push it aside and say, I probably imagined it. Or if there is no person there giving you this, this is what you need to do in clear, audible, something that you can hear and connect with without any doubt. Even then people will escape. Even when the guru gives clear guidance, what you hear can be completely something else. Yeah. And when you're just trying to rely on guidance from a guru who cannot hold you down and hold you accountable, yeah. Yeah, that's the right word. Then there are all sorts of loopholes to exploit.
Even our own mind can give one meaning to whatever insight, intuition has occurred. It can change the very next day or next hour, and we would start believing that. Instead, oh, maybe I misunderstood, and there's always trickery going on, possible trick. It actually feels like trickery.
Yeah, yeah. Like you see a sign today that, oh, today I should go to, Brahmanashram and meditate. And then, oh, you're coming out, and then you see a newspaper ad which says, come to Pondicherry or something like that. And then you say, oh, if you don't like to do that, you're like, oh, this is a sign that I should go to Pondicherry and not to Ramanashram. It's really easy for the ego to fool itself. And
so in a sense, guru becomes like a reflection of our inner compass. If we believe there is a truer compass, then it's an outer form of that we know what we need to do, but sometimes we are just like still going here and there, getting distracted, being pulled into other things, or just whatever, not staying the course. And then you need somebody to say, hey, back on the track, I guess.
The guru is the most magical phenomenon in which life or enlightenment or God, whatever you call it, can speak to you, embodied in a form, even though it's not limited by that form, can express itself through that form. And that's the greatest gift you can have on your path. When you can speak to life directly, even though you are using this kind of connection.
It can be confusing because there are even scriptures is written that anything and anybody can be your guru, right? And when you really look, when you allow yourself to be really open, you literally can see that's true. A piece of rock can be your guru. And at moment to moment, anything literally and anybody can teach you things and make you stay the course, or as long as you're, but there's...
So that's what happens when the ego doesn't want to, really face the truth. It selects something convenient from somewhere that it has been heard from somewhere, from even the scriptures, or something shared on a WhatsApp group or Facebook, and says, "This is my guidance." Yeah. Yeah. But also the scriptures say how important the guru is, right? There is also, the Guru Parampara of India. The reason that it has stayed for millennia like this and continues to do so is because it works. Anything can be your guru. That is true. Because in every single thing there is enlightenment. In every single thing there is Buddha nature. If you let something really touch you, no matter what it is, it can awaken you. But letting it touch you is the problem. Having the direct experience of anything can show you what the truth is, because a direct experience of no matter what it is a direct experience of the true self. But the problem is the middleman, the filters which prevent the direct experience from happening. Before that experience can reach you, the ego which changes it, modifies it, judges it, makes it look completely different than what it originally started with.
I experience it all the time. Every day something occurs in the, as an insight, intuition, or a thought, even just, and immediately there are versions of it provided, like occurring, like, okay, this, and you can see there is distortion occurring like instantaneously, and but instantly you are involved, and again you're lost and confused. Can be, not always, but in the moment of weakness, and it can happen quite often. So.
All these devices are so unreliable.
Mind is unreliable.
Yes, the devices of...
We are enough purified in our mind. We can read everywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
that is not our
Yes.
situation usually.
Yes, exactly. Mm.
It also becomes like a state that comes and goes. There are times when you have the capacity to have that clarity and be able to distinguish between the filters. And there are times when you can have some sense of what's occurring and what are the filters. You still can't remove them somehow, or not be unaffected by it. Yeah.
Yes.
Still can.
So what I mean by all these devices are unreliable is that we use different formulas to get a direct experience. There are so many techniques that we use, which sometimes work, sometimes don't. Even the most beautiful technique, if given in the hands of the ego, it will find a loophole in that. Even if a comprehensive system is given to you to see the truth.
Then you can even start
Yes.
having suspicion about the guru also.
Yes, but when the guru is there to guide you through it, you can get exactly what is needed, because the guidance that comes is wise, is...
It's like experience.
Mm-hmm. It's not just experience, it's like life speaking, speaking to you, understanding what you need next. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Welcome. Mm. Because if you try to understand it for yourself, if you try to see it for yourself, the ego has a way of missing the big picture. The ego has a way of zooming in so much and focusing on just one thing that it forgets what's the whole purpose of this. The ego has a habit of making anything you give it, even the most beautiful teaching, even when given by the most enlightened guru, even then it can take that and make it into something that pushes you into darkness if you if you don't receive it. So even when you have a guru, it's important to be really open. It's important to be really receptive. What worked for me was to give all the benefit of the doubt to the guru. When a guidance was being given, to completely set aside my understanding, my judgments, my expectations, just for that one moment as I'm receiving it, put everything else aside and listen with all my being and try to absorb it like a sponge. I somehow remembered this one part from Viveka Chudamani when my uncle was explaining it to me when I was a teenager, that let every word your guru says, let it create a huge wave in you. I'm paraphrasing. I remembered that image in my mind somehow. Let it create the biggest effect it can in you, every word from the guru.
Usually you are trying to minimize.
Yes, we are trying to, he said that, but my situation is a little different, so maybe it doesn't apply to me, right? And then we completely nullify the whole effect of it. But when you give so much respect and honor to the advice of the guru, when you trust and see that this advice is here to show me the truth, and I value the truth more than my own ideas of what is, of what is, my own concepts of what is. These concepts that we have read in some book or maybe had a glimpse of, even in our own experience, when we've had a glimpse, even that can be turned into something of a concept. And whenever you turn it into a concept, it becomes so limited. You're trying to capture this into a concept. Yeah, a few words. And you make up rules with that concept. You make up expectations, judgments with that one concept. And then you try to apply it, and
So you're saying basically it is true that to have a living guru, if not absolutely must, is essential. Very. Or maybe you better put it in your words.
it's really hard to make a definitive statement, because if I make a definitive statement which I say 100% is true, then I am doing the same mistake of trying to capture that into a concept. So I try to make open statements with a little bit of flexibility, so that the mind does not again take that and say, this is the truth because Ra said it, or I don't know, or anybody said it. You can't say, that person said it, even Ramana said this, and that's the only truth, because Ramana expressed it in words. And when he expressed it, there is so much more behind it, there is so much more context that the ego can completely miss and take only the words and say, this is the truth. Hmm. When Ramana was probably teaching that to someone in one of the talks, that might have been what that person needed to hear in that moment. The next day, if someone else asked the same question, he might have heard completely something else. Hmm. So the guru gives what is needed in that moment for whatever the next step is. But the ego doesn't want to understand that because it's not convenient. And it tries to take what is convenient and follow it, and whatever is not very convenient tries to rationalize around it. So that's my answer. I can't give a yes or no because of that. Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. Hmm. 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 Yes, please. Hmm.
So, I just want to continue on what she said. My story regarding like me faking a guru, being a guru, and like extracting money and being a police case.
You might want to summarize it a little bit.
Summarize is like basically humans are gullible idiots. So, if I can fake out to be a guru and extract money just for the sake of to say that people are gullible in Thiru, how to find out that which guru is actually enlightened and which is not? Because like gurus are popping up like popcorns everywhere. So how to actually like know who is enlightened and who's not? Because like one thing is, uh, it has to like really come from the source, like whatever the uh, context we are getting, like because everyone can just speak the words. Maybe the words are empty, we don't know. You said it's very important to be guided, you know for most cases, very rare cases like Ramana or Siddharth Gautama can got enlightened without any living guru but if the source itself is coming from a wrong place, there is no point. And if you take Ramana's words, there is only one proper way to like see if a person is enlightened or not. He says like look at your own mind. He says like even that cannot be confirmed 100%. Like, so thing is, having a guru is important, but how to know which guru is actually speaking from the source and which guru is just actually faking it.
That's a great question. And that's a question that I had myself for a long time as I was on my quest to find my guru. And it took me nearly 10 years or so in this seeking the guru who will then help me find enlightenment, because I read Autobiography of a Yogi and I saw the importance of a guru. And along with that, I also built up expectations of what a guru should look like and sound like and, all that, act like. It's a double-edged sword when you have certain expectations from the guru. When you try to measure what cannot be really measured. Because you cannot see if somebody is enlightened just by the physical characteristics or things that can really be grasped by these measurable things. And that's the problem. That's what brings up this question, right? And I had the same dilemma.
It is said, like, in Bhagavad Gita, that 1 in 10 million
Yeah, 1 in 10 million are like
has a good chance to get enlightened, and most of them die on the spot.
yes.
That's what it is said, but here in Thiru, it is said there are 9 people all the time in the state of Ramna.
Yes, yes.
But when I first came here, I felt like everybody is enlightened except me. So the thing is, it's very hard to trust people. It's quite hard to trust people. I go to a lot of satsangs. I don't know who is enlightened, who is not. It has to. If the guidance is coming, as you rightly said, that there has to be some kind of a guidance. Nisarata Maharaj used to say that if you're earnest enough, if you're completely earnest enough with your life, you will be in such kind of situation where you'll automatically be guided. And Dattatreya had 21 gurus. Even a bird was a guru. So as she was saying, if you're attentive, anything can, when a rock can be guru, you were saying that, which is very true. So, but the thing is, when I can trust a rock as a guru, but I have trusting human being as a guru, because there are too many people who are popping up like popcorns everywhere to claiming that they are gurus. So how to know that a person is enlightened or not? How to have that space where I can trust another human being, whether he's lying or not. If I ask a question, are you enlightened? Most of the time people give an answer there is no one to be get enlightened. No man, come on. I mean, give me a straightforward answer. Is there, I then started changing my vocabulary a little bit. Is there still an I in your body mind? For that they have some kind of another word jugglery. A lot of intellectual gymnastics, which I can do very easily, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for how to trust a person who can be a guru. That's what I'm exactly looking for. Yeah.
So the way around this dilemma. Yeah, I really like the things you said. You can trust a rock, but you cannot trust a person, because there could be hidden agendas. And when I was looking for my guru, that's what I found. I used to try to follow somebody around for 3 months or so, for a year, to understand what's happening. And I would get disappointed again and again and again. I would just see that there is something off. And I just couldn't bring myself to accept them as my guru. But what really works is not finding a guru as a person, but finding the guru tattva. The guru is not really a person. The guru is life itself. The guru is enlightenment itself, which is guiding you through the bird, the rock, and through everything you see, maybe some YouTube video you watch. But what I'm meaning to say is everything has that Guru Tattva, but connecting to that Guru Tattva first. In my case, what happened was, after being disappointed again and again and again for nearly 10 years, after visiting so many different gurus and ashrams and whatnot, I felt that I could only trust life. I could not trust a human being to guide me. And I tried to follow life. I tried to surrender to whatever guidance I got as much as I could, follow my heart, my intuition. I tried to follow it. And I eventually dropped the search for a guru because of the same exact dilemma, which I could not find an answer to. And when I dropped the search, I was in Auroville when I really felt my heart open and my sensitivity grow and my intuition become more and more clear. And I said, this is all I need. I don't need a guru anymore. I'm going to stop searching and just follow my heart and trust life. And paradoxically, that is when I came to Thiru. Following life's guidance. I had a vision in the morning. One day I woke up. I saw that I should go to Thiru on my motorcycle. I saw packed bags and going to Thiru. And I came here without any plan because I was just, okay, let life show me what this is for. And within 24 hours of arriving to Thiru, my 10-year-long quest of finding the Guru ended. I arrived here in the evening, and the next morning I went to a satsang. I was invited by somebody I knew, and who I saw there was beyond all my expectations of, oh, my guru. Earlier in these 10 years, I was like, my guru should be so dedicated to the truth that they should have taken sannyas and become a swami, and life for them all only is the guru, only is the search for enlightenment. All these ideas, so many ideas, what they should wear, what they should look like, all these things. And the person there sitting in front of me did not, qualify with my expectations, seen through my expectations. But when he spoke, when he answered a question that somebody asked, something deep within me responded. There was a recognition of the truth in those words. There was a beautiful response from my heart with everything I heard. There was something that moved in my heart, as if what was spoken through that person was really my heart speaking to me. And then in that moment, I knew I had found my guru, even though I had dropped the search, and all the other parameters didn't matter anymore. The only parameter that did matter was I feel the truth. And I want to complete this thought that even though there were things that I did not like, my ego did not like a lot of things later as I stayed with that guru and learned, there were things that I noticed which I judged. There were things that I would have normally seen as this is the reason for me to leave this guru and find someone else. But because I had seen the effect that it had staying with the guru, I saw that that's the only thing that mattered.
See, when you are talking to her, she asked something like, you told her that it's very, ego has a habit of cherry picking. Like, it looks for its own convenience all the time. And like, say like, this is exactly where I want to sit because like this is I want. Because basically when you're agreeing with something, you already know it. Otherwise you can't agree with that. Like, I'm just paraphrasing Friedrich Nietzsche, but like, this is exactly what you're trying to convey. So like when you talk about intuition, there is a logical mind which is sitting within us. It's there within everyone. And how do you differentiate between intuition and like, just this is what my ego is looking for, another loophole? Okay, now I got this, like, so how are you going to differentiate, like, as is it going to be a, what exactly do you mean by intuition? Like, I feel it without any thoughts, like, just as a feeling, non-verbal feeling, or is it something else? Or is it something else? What exactly do you mean by intuitions? Because like, I can meet anyone, like, and have a placebo effect in my brain, like, which can say that, like, my I'm feeling certain in a certain way about that particular person. All right, it can just be my brain chemistry. So what is the difference between the so-called ego cherry picking and the intuition which you're talking? How to differentiate that, and especially in the quest for finding a guru? I mean, like, who is properly enlightened.
So that's the thing where we discussed that we cannot rely upon those signs and symbols and intuitions. But at the same time,
Can I say something? Can I say? Or
Oh.
Satsang always between you and me?
oh, if you want to say it, you can say it into the mic.
Okay. I can say very loud. No, you ask about the difference. No, when you know. For me is, I forgot what I want to say. You see, this thing here I don't like. I don't like.
You want to come sit here?
Wait, I have to think.
This chair
what
has a
I-
way of bringing
No,
things
no,
up.
this chair is horrible too. It's like this thing too.
And who was that guru?
Oh, I will.
No, when you feel that when you think you are right, you are wrong. When you feel that you are right, you are right. Then this is the difference between intuition or blah blah blah. Is a feeling. Is something like you eat a good food and in Vijay's place, of course, and then you have this feeling of fulfillment, not about food, but about the other thing. You think you are right, is a kind of I don't like that word, ego. Both.
I forgot what I was saying too. Yes, yes. I'm just kidding. Huh. Yes. Yes, I was saying.
Ego will choose what is like comfortable for it.
Mm.
So like, what is the difference between, how do we know that ego which you are calling as intuition or which I am calling as intuition,
Mhm.
how can I confirm that, like, it's not just another stupid game of the ego?
Yes,
It's
yes,
to rephrase that,
yes, yes.
in finding a guru who's enlightened.
Mm. Mm. So, as I was saying earlier, that these are things that we cannot completely rely on. Intuition and, some feeling that I should go, the vision that I had. But that's what I had in that moment. That was not perfect guidance, because I myself experienced sometimes when I followed the signs that life gave me, I went to the right place, and sometimes it was not exactly right, but I kind of surrendered that whatever guidance I got, whatever best was offered to me by life, I will take it, because I'm beggars can't be choosers, you know. That's what I received from life, and because I did not have the right perfect guidance, okay, whatever possible to progress that I can do, I will do. I read books, I followed different techniques, whatever I could. And that is just an expression of your yearning to find the Guru. When you have the true yearning, you will try to find a way in whichever way you can. And when you have that yearning, and when you are earnest and you put your effort as much as you can, life will support you. This is not all random that you just do a Google search and then you see the rankings and then you find the things. You can't logically, find your guru using these kind of things. You have to rely on life in some way, because life will show you the guru who will show you the path when you're ready for it, when you're open. When they say, when the student is ready, that the master appears, the teacher appears. And it can happen in all these different ways, but you have to be open. And for me, my openness was expressed in just coming to Thiru completely without expectations. And when I saw that there was somebody who could touch my heart, and when he spoke, I felt the truth. His name is Shanti. And when I found that guru I was looking for, I was waiting for it, and it was completely clear. Also what happened when I was there was I saw so many signs that life was showing me that he was my guru. And in that moment, that's all I could muster from that level of maturity. So do the best you can. My advice is, do the best you can with all the skills you have, with all the faculty you have of intuition and whatever. And it's not about trusting a person. In my experience, I trusted life to show me the way through that person. And that person was simply a tool for life to express through. And it was not really about that person so much, because the Guru Tattva being expressed through the Guru is what I was looking for in reality, in hindsight. The Guru Tattva. And the Guru Tattva cannot be really captured by a person. Yeah. A form cannot really hold the fullness of it, no matter how perfect the form. A form can express it perfectly if the form is, completely surrendered and perfect.
So basically, you're just saying that, so basically you're saying like, there is no perfect way to, for me, I don't know what, spiritual maturity I am in, but for me to recognize, yes, he might be enlightened, because it is said that only an enlightened being can know another other enlightened being. That's one thing. The other one is you are indirectly saying, not indirectly, let me say, there is no perfect way to confirm the enlightenment of another being, but yet there is a requirement of a guru. There is a whole lot of big contradictory, paradoxical thing here, because without trust, nothing is possible. We have to trust. At the same time, we don't know who is enlightened and who is not, who is a fake guru and who is not, who is giving a fake satsang and who is not. We don't have any idea in Thiru. That I can guarantee you.
But
All
the
right.
only one who is doubting is the mind.
Yeah, that's true.
It's your
That's
mind.
that's 100% true.
You know that every time in life we get what we need. That's it.
I mean, like my question is like, do you think there is a element of faith which we require? Like, just turn a blind eye to the brain that, like, universe has given us, and, like, okay, you know what my definition of faith, that morning I explained you that. So is there an element of faith in finding, like, a right person who can guide us, like who I can trust?
Hmm. The mind really wants formulas. The mind really wants to conceptualize even this. The mind really wants to find the perfect way. And its idea of perfect cannot really be satisfied, really. Because whenever you even give the most perfect thing in front of the mind, it will find an imperfection in it, because the mind is imperfect. It's not the guru that you're finding is imperfect. As she said, life gives you what you need in that moment. And even though if it's an imperfect guru, even if you find somebody who wants to swindle you or abuse you or whatever, and your surrender to that person is true, and you trust life more than that, it's not about the person. When you understand it's the Guru Tattva, your true aim is enlightenment, not following a person. Just because of your true surrender, whatever needs to happen will happen. In reality, the humility that we find by bowing down, by surrendering, when we do Girivalam, for example, we see 100 temples, right? And each and every time we bow down, that's an opportunity to surrender. It doesn't matter what we are bowing down to, because no matter what we are bowing down to, we are bowing down to God, to enlightenment. We are seeing the God in that stone statue, and we are bowing down to that, not to that form itself. And because of that humility that you earn by doing that, because of the openness that comes from the humility, the veil is removed. And your search for the Guru, as you seek, even the process of seeking itself is a purification process. Because you see that the expectations that you have, the judgments that you have, these are to be let go of, because you see that they are not realistic. That's what I discovered in my search. When I found Shanti, it was the greatest gift that life gave me, and I was so happy that I surrendered completely, as much as I could. You cannot really do surrender. But I had the intention to completely give it all up. And that is what worked. So,
I just have to be ready.
Just have to be ready. You just have to find the humility to surrender.
Even if the person is not
Yeah, a person cannot be perfect. Yeah, it's what is perfect again.
Perfect in the sense, even if a person is not existing.
Yeah, as I was saying, what is perfect again? Another idea, another concept of what you think is whatever measures up to your qualities.
Basically, you're saying it depends on my earnestness.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. You're basically saying that it depends on my earnestness, which is just going to take me to the right person in the right time. But still, there is no way for me to. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not like a clear-cut formula that you can follow. I know. I'm sorry I cannot give you that because it doesn't exist.
Probably opposite there next way.
Yeah, so don't look for solutions in these conceptual ways. That's not where the solution exists. They are made to be imperfect.
It's perfect.
Yes, there
We
is.
go from perfection to perfection. Every time
Yes.
it's perfect for the moment.
Yes. There is a perfection in these imperfections. I'm pointing out the imperfection of the concept of perfection. Because when the mind says I am looking for something perfect, it's just a concept. Everything is perfect as it is. You know, this whole search, this whole journey is unbelievably perfect. It's so perfect that it's overwhelmingly beautiful.
And is according to your despair. If you are despair, you find. If you are not despair, don't look.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you are with Osho. You are saying this to me now. So what, 30 minutes?
Thank you for that discussion. It's very interesting.
Oh, thank you for being open to this.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. I've been with gurus for many years. The only flaw is that I didn't have that great yearning. I stumbled upon them, and I was part of traditions that I trusted very greatly. For me, it was like the guru can be read through the page, this whole kind of, it can't be a concept, it can't be a word, Yes, I appreciate what you said, particularly about we can't make a concept of it. Because the truth in so many ways to me is so ordinary, we can see it. Like the disease today is black and white thinking. It's like, I want a concept, I want you to tell me exactly how it goes. It doesn't work like that. And we really do get what we deserve. I mean, even look politically now, right? Everybody's crestfallen in the world because we look at our leaders and they're just like, we can't accept it. Really? Is that the best we can produce? Do you know what I mean? In the same way, we may only deserve a guru who swindles us. Because life will swindle us. Sometimes the more truth you get, the more suffering you get until the despair comes. Right? So that's kind of what I see. Maybe we have to suffer till we really deserve. Because you have to trust someone. I was with teachers and I was looking for a really substantial person, And occasionally I meet people I have a very strong rapport with, and sometimes they feel more like a friend. I ended up with gurus who I was a friend with, whether or not they had 300 students and they would ever speak to me again is another thing. But sometimes I felt kind of silly being one of 300 when we're just like, we're the same, But then I find that we as humans, we we push away the truth. Like the last thing we want really is the truth. And I think in that sense, our concept of the enlightenment or even of the guru is so like, you know, we start with that, how is he going to look stuff and all that kind of stuff. But if somebody actually really tells us the truth, that he's not our guru. Unless he's, and I'm not saying that it's in any way wrong to for anybody to come up and say, I have something to say, you know, I'm a teacher or whatever. That's fine. I think everybody should share. But I think we get so many things so complete. We need to realize how back the front we get nearly everything. Our world is just like a literal, just as you say, we're gullible idiots. Let's be real about it. And most of us are like that. We can't get big. You know, it's very difficult because then you sound conceited to say that. That's why everyone's afraid of the truth, because they don't want to be that blunt. But we are so close to the truth when we say that, right? So I think if somebody really told us the truth, we'd think, no, they're not true. They're the last person I'm going to listen to. So we have to be led in very, very gently, you know. If ever you want to say, as you say, wrathful, the wrathful deity of the Tibetans, if you just let it loose, people say, not touching you. Yeah. So and so our egos are to see the how protected our egos are, right? That it's like, you know, maybe if I trust you, maybe if I have the right intuition, maybe if I like you, maybe if the tradition says that, you know, it's a good thing to have a guru, yeah, then maybe I'll let someone in to. But I mean, even amongst the very supposedly substantial gurus that I've had over 10 years, like I can count on. I rarely think, you know, it could be a fault of mine that I didn't let much in, but there were very few opportunities where that person said anything pointedly to me that I could take that was useful. So it's great to have this tradition of the guru, but who is he? You know, we have to trust them, and that's a great start. Trust is a great start. But life, you're right, it's everywhere in life, right? How do you feel?
Trying to find a guru is, for the ego, like trying to select your murderer. You know? So there can be gurus who are really so effective in what they do, in killing the ego, but at the same time the ego develops such a dislike for their ways, their methods of doing that it doesn't want to go there. So the trick is to find somebody who is compatible enough for the tastes of the ego, you know, speaks in a somewhat acceptable way for the ego, pellates the ego even in the beginning to get the ego to really feel comfortable enough to let go. There are all these different ways that I have seen the guru work. Speaks your language, connects to you from different concepts. Being a guru is all about building bridges before you can convey what needs to be conveyed. So in order for an ego to be able to receive, first the foundation has to be laid. And laying the foundation is the big part. Because even if the truth is directly given in one go to the ego, it's just going to, push it away, reject it, rationalize around it, pervert it into something ugly. Yeah. So there are a lot of paths which are very developmental and kind of step by step, so that the ego is prepared, and there is so much yearning after years of wanting to receive the teaching. In some of the paths, you work for 30 years and go through all these different things, different levels. It's all bullshit, basically. But for the ego, it's like, oh my God, I'm in level 9 now after working 30 years. And when I reach level 10, the truth will be given to me in this secret teaching that I have had to work so hard for. And then the ego is like, really, wow, I'm going to receive this now because I've worked hard for it and I deserve it. And
I don't agree with this thing. The
Mm.
ego is never happy to be happy.
yeah,
He
that's
doesn't want to be free because he dies.
yes.
He dies, he finished, he fuck it. He
Mhm.
gets fuck it.
Mhm.
Get lost. Then how he can be prepared? How can he be in the 90 level, go to the 10th
I
level?
I that's not always true,
No? Okay.
but
It was different.
but I have seen it in my own experience that it's the truth, it for some
You can prepare the heart.
hmm,
The heart to be more soft, to be more open. But the ego
Yes.
is like a small child. I want this now, but I don't.
I think we are talking about the same thing but using different words.
Okay.
Exactly the same thing.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Because the ego will not really give up, as you said.
Yeah.
The ego really does not.
Never give up.
Yeah. But when you have such a yearning and such an openness that you can receive finally after all that preparation, that is when a change can happen. That is when you can really be touched with that openness. And the definition of the ego is resistance. Whatever you give it, it will resist. So
You can't help comparing the touches that you've had through practice with the ones that you get on a personal level. Perhaps some people, again, like we were saying, people are different. Some people receive things more easily from other people than they do from around or inside. But sometimes I really feel like and I'm not saying it's everybody's different, but for me, when the despair and this realism about what life is about really dawns on you, and you see the lengths to which the vast majority of humanity and in ourselves and the way we act is pussyfooting around the truth. Sometimes I'll sit there and it's like, wow, do you want it or do you want it? It's like these great people going, oh, great guru, 300 years. He never tells the truth to any, you'd go 6 months without him saying anything. It's just, and I'm not totally cynical about it, but sometimes it's like, really, give me 15 seconds and I'll deliver you what you want if you want to hear it, kind of thing. It's obvious many times. But of course, everybody has different versions of what they think is the truth to deliver. But sometimes it's like, we're so afraid of cutting to the root of things, right?
Yeah. So that's one of the.
Because in the end, we have to decide. You could say something really, really, you could hit me in a way, and in the end, life does that, right? And at some point, you've just got to say, well, as in the world, if something's giving me a message, what am I going to take from this?
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel that I can
So-
trust this? Do do I just want to push it away? We're always making that decision.
So to make the person receptive, to make the heart open, that's the upaya being used sometimes. What I was mentioning, after 30 years giving that, softening up, making humility and openness and receptivity happen through these different things. And then delivering the most simple thing when the time is right. That is one of the approaches. That is one of the upayas that some of the gurus use. Whereas there are others who reveal the truth so openly, like Ramana, like many in the Advaita path. The truth is from the beginning revealed again and again and again until it seeps in, which I find to be the preferred method, because it's so open and it's transparent, and there is no shadows for the ego to hide in, because it's well, that's yes, again, I don't want to make that statement of like tuck, but I would say there is lesser of that. There is lesser opportunity for the shadows to hide in, because sometimes these methods are so transclusent. Why I have to do all these practices for 30 years before receiving it? I don't know, but I can still, if somebody can still trust and do it, like we hear in the stories of lore, how they would really trust the guru for so many years, and then in that moment they could get enlightened by just one touch or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like anything. You have to be careful of the mythologizing that we've created, because I mean, we've heard, particularly in Tiru, 8 out of 10 gurus are just basically repeating parrot-like this beautiful but very abstract and quite arbitrary. I mean, there are multiple ways even to deliver Advaita, right? If you read around the texts, and people can have their own experience and make it more constant, more modern, or whatever, in terms of like their own structure, and describe it in fresh and new ways, like a John, for instance. But I mean, it's like, to me, that's all well and good, and it's great, but it's training. It really does seem to me like it's training wheels, and you can see people can very much get horribly attached to these concepts, right? And then just this moment-to-moment thing where we can see that not only can you be rough with people in the sense that you can say, where it's quite obvious that something is in the way, in the way they, on a moment-to-moment level, how they just jump back into their head or something with a concept. You can be rough, but you can also, people often don't even see when they're seeing the truth. I mean, that to me is what I see is a great guru, is someone who can literally bolster someone up when they need bolstering up, when they're not even recognizing that they're quite obviously seeing the truth. And vice versa, when they're quite obviously running a very obviously racket on themselves. It's got so little to do with the traditional teaching. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just, to me, that would be of greater value, but people don't want that because it's so ordinary. It's so ordinary to do that, and it's what we do actually in our daily lives. But we don't trust our friends to tell us these things, and, What do you think about that?
It's a gift that we are offered so many different approaches. I say, no matter what level a teacher is at, every teacher is a gift to the world. Even if they teach you something really basic, even if they're not enlightened and you learn a little bit of something, that is what you needed in that time. And each person has a different mental makeup, a different soft spot through which soft spot they can receive. They might have hardened other parts of their, built a wall. There's a tiny hole that maybe one certain teacher they can find, because, oh, I don't like this teacher because he wears this kind of clothes. The ego can find all sorts of silly reasons to reject the truth, right? But if they find one teacher who can somehow find a way to get to them, that is enough. And I'm grateful to all the teachers, even when I was looking and was disappointed with them in my search. I still learned something. I still received something from them. May not have been the teaching that got me to enlightenment or to whatever big progress or significant, doesn't matter. But it's okay. It's all how it's supposed to work in a way. There's nothing to fight against, nothing to change.
No, I mean, you have a very trustworthy energy. To me, it's a frustration sometimes because I know people often. I feel like I have much to give, and yet I just know that people that don't like it direct, and it's sad because, I mean, it's a long path to get someone to trust you, and then not only to trust you, to then trust you when you cross them eventually, or and then respect you as well. They have to respect you as having at least equal. I mean, even as you say, this general thing in Advaita of, I'll just trust anyone. Well, that's tricky. Like in the Tibetan tradition, it's like, well, there's a kind of a list of minimum requirements. He's got to show a certain amount of morality, a certain amount of bearing and qualities to the way he does, and then you give him the benefit of the doubt beyond that. He's human. He's just a receptacle for the tradition. Great. I've decided to surrender to him, and even with mental remembrances, that the tradition runs through him. Like within this Advaita tradition, we're literally looking, and the same with John, for some kind of Superman, rather than a receptacle for the wisdom tradition. And I find that very helpful. I found the idea of receiving through the Tibetan tradition for that very reason, that one thought. When I saw the Dalai Lama, everyone's got their theories about him, but what I loved was that he would come onto the stage, and the tradition was that the guru would bow to his guru. So there's always this recognition of his forebears, that he's received something from the past. He doesn't have to be perfect. He's going to continue receiving it, and you fall into that line. See, rather than looking, is he perfect in every possible way? It's not possible. Yeah.
That's the first place I looked, the traditional way that the lineages. In India, there are so many gurus. Somehow, as I said, I found people who had all the other expectations that I was looking for, but somehow the essential fire that would show me the light, that was missing. And I saw, even with all those things, there is hidden agendas, politics, and this and that. And I just couldn't find the willingness to surrender. Right. Yeah. So
you said it yourself that it's the faith. I mean, that's again one
yes.
of the great things that I trust from learning from the Tibetan tradition. What I find is very often distorted
yeah.
in the Hindu traditions is that it really does come down to your faith.
Mhm.
When you know it's your faith
Mhm.
that's functioning
Mhm.
and not the external person, then you can make sense of imperfection. Whereas to me, I feel that the simplicity of the Hindu thing is like, oh, I've got to find a person, and he's going to be my guru, and he's going to be perfect, and he's going to do it all for me. It's too simplistic. It really will come down to your quality of faith. And of course, there are these lineages, but I'm saying it was literally expressed, page 1.
Yeah.
The Dharma itself is bigger than the individual who delivers it to you. He's the contraption in your dream, the delivery system.
Yes. Yeah, that's very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I eventually discovered too, after years of searching, that it's not about the person so much, but the Guru Tattva.
And you're like a perfect student has to meet a perfect teacher. Not that he's perfect, but he has to be a perfect student. That's the meaning of the student is ready. Not because I want it.
Yeah,
because
and
you've literally gone with enough sincerity to where you're deserving.
yes, and sometimes the journey of trying to find a guru and failing again and again is the purification process that is necessary to make the student ready.
Or your practice or whatever.
Yeah,
So
and
you
the other
follow
things you
the
do
practices thing, silly,
Yeah.
silly clunky ideas.
Yes, yes.
Like I don't know if I'm going on too long, but I remember the thing with the Papaji's saying the Krishna mantra for 35 years and then going, oh, it had nothing to do with me preparing myself for my guru. It doesn't make any sense to me. Of course it did. And then when Ramana says, you don't need Krishna anymore. Well, that's now you don't need Krishna anymore, but you did then, and he purified you and he made you ready for me. It's like the Christian tradition over time. It can just become so horribly misinterpreted and simplified and distorted that it literally puts people on the wrong path, or it keeps them where they're, what they deserve now, all this kind of stuff, which is a way of saying not very much. Sorry, maybe I'm going on. It's an interesting question because personally, I'm not looking. If I find somebody comes, I will trust them and then I'll find out what happens then.
Thank you. We've gone down this rabbit hole quite deep. It's so simple, yet it's so complicated at the same time.
We don't even talk about destiny yet, so let's not bring that into this. Once you bring this quotation, everything is destined. All this talks which we had till now just goes up in the smoke.
Yes.
Because nothing makes sense.
I mean, it's simple, really. It's simple as it is. It's the mind, the ego, which makes it complicated. So much talking, so much juggling words and concepts and but it's so simple. So simple that only the simplest can really express it. Silence. As soon as you say anything, it just kind of perverts it. But if words are required to, as I was saying earlier, to comfort the ego enough to have a little bit of openness, give a little bit of a chance for the for humility to come in.
You can seduce the ego.
Mm.
You can seduce.
Yes, yes.
Seduce.
Seduce. Mm.
Not
Mm.
No juice at all.
Hmm.
Now been to Osho, Papaji, Karl Renz, and now you're here. What are you doing? You have to ask
Looking
this
for
question
it.
of Guru.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
She's following the Guru Tattva.
The Guru Tattva. Hmm. Hmm.
Tattva means essence.
Hmm. Yeah, it leads you so beautifully. I didn't plan to be here during Guru Purnima. Actually, somehow happened. I didn't even remember the dates. After I booked the plane ticket, I was like, "Wow, I'm here during the Guru Purnima period." And it just hmm. Mm?
Seeing what this question has done to this room, I'm glad I didn't ask this question in Gangama's room on Guru Purnima. That's what I actually wanted to ask.
Ah.
Everybody was happily soaking in the bhajans.
Mm.
Let it be.
Mm. 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 Yes, please. Please.
Um, let's try to understand the issue here. Here. We all have, at least I have a body. I recognize the body. My name is Murli. I recognize my name is Murli. My mom gave me that name. I'm very attached to my body. 47 years old. I was not attached to my body. Now I'm very attached, actually. I've been trying to protect my body for a long time. I get hungry. I need food. I need touch. I need different things for my body, which I secure by going to work, get money, pay for it so that it's protected. It has a house. The biggest hypocrite here who doesn't understand all these things is me, because honestly, I don't understand the core problem here. Why do we need a guru, and why do we need education, and why do we need all this drama to actually, because I have recognized I have a body, and that's it. That's the final thing, because that's what I see every day. Okay, so I'm coming from there. That's the basis. That's the foundation I come from. Everything else is built on top, right? That I have a relationship, I have this much money in my bank account. All that is actually satisfying myself. Now let's put that in the center and try to build on top of it. Like, what should I do after that? Like, if I have satisfied my bodily needs, I have made money. I have actually done whatever I need to satisfy the every bodily function I need to do. What do I do after that is the question. Tiru is not the question, I think. If I have not satisfied those basic stuff, right, basic things, I don't think I should be talking about all these things. I should go and actually satisfy those problems first.
Am I fed properly?
Are you from the Osho camp?
No, no, no. I'm not from an Osho camp. So, yeah, I'm not from Osho camp. I understand Osho, but I don't want to. I don't want to go there.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I feel like, yeah, it might look like Osho, but it's not. So from my perspective, I think I have satisfied that piece. There is something I have, and there is a deep unhappiness from what I have done with my body and my mind and with my knowledge. That deep unhappiness is bringing me to Thiru again and again. No guru brings me here. No amount of nothing, like, because if you try and experience this world, right, there is dissatisfaction. Ultimately, it'll lead to dissatisfaction. There is some deep longing which is not getting fulfilled, and that brought me to this satsang also, probably, and that's the core problem I feel like, which is coming. So I'm trying to get to the heart of the problem. See, we start from somewhere and we end up somewhere, right? The conversation has to get somewhere. Okay, go ahead.
I think, nobody needs enlightenment because nobody really know what the fuck is enlightenment.
Yeah.
Everyone, I agree with you because everyone just want to get rid of suffering. That's it.
Yes. So we'll get there.
Nobody knows what is enlightenment.
Let's try to define the
There are
problem.
1,000 different attitudes given to enlightenment. We imagine how Ramana might have felt, like, that bliss, this thing and everything, but we don't know a damn about it.
You don't know
I
damn
agree with
about it.
you. We just want to get rid of our fucking suffering. That's all.
That's it. So let's say I'm just talking about myself. I don't know about you guys. Okay. So I'm just talking here because I sat here. I'm first time talking to someone. So I have a body. My name is Murli. I am 47 years old. I have done whatever I can to protect my body. I have an NRI. I have money. I have experiences now in my life, and then now I have seen the world. I am coming here, but I am still dissatisfied. This dissatisfaction is there within me because I don't understand myself very well. This dissatisfaction is there because every day I wake up, I have new desires to do something to solve my happiness problem. I have a happiness problem because I can eat malpua tomorrow and I eat something, but something is there which is not satisfying me. What is that thing which is not satisfying me? I mean, what is that yearnness to actually, what am I yearning? Is the question now, right? And let's try to discover, let's try to go there, because ultimately that's my basic problem. And where am I supposed to end up? How do we get there?
Thank you. That's a very well-defined question. It is, it's something that deeper in you that knows that the things on the surface cannot satisfy you. You said, you talked about, your age, your name, and your things, the way I speak about it is that we play roles. And these roles are on the surface. And the roles can come and go like waves. But the depth of who you are, when you don't recognize it, when you don't see it, and you only see that you are this body, you are this personality, you are this identity that you have built around yourself, which have covered up, in a way, your true nature, which makes you believe that satisfying just the role that you're playing, satisfying only the bodily desires, satisfying only the desires of the mind, and going on this endless cycle of wanting something, getting that, seeing that again it doesn't satisfy you, and then hoping the next thing will satisfy you. And what happens again and again is the same thing. You will think, I got this thing that I really wanted, and for 1 second you will find, wow, I finally got it. What is really happening is that we are looking for something that we already have deep within us, and we hope to find it outside of us. But when we do obtain what we want, we only receive a tiny speck, which is a reflection of what is inside us. And we know deep within us that there is so much more. There is so much more joy, there is so much more happiness, there is so much more love, there is so much more peace. And you're hoping to get it from this external world, knowing this within you, which creates that dissatisfaction. And the ego being attached to the things that it's attached to is not ready to let go of it and see that truth. Does that make sense?
Let's go to part 2 now. Okay. So part 2 is like you are unsatisfied and you're looking for a guru. You get a teaching, and I think there is no great teacher than Bhagwan. Bhagwan has actually answered every question which you might have in the mind. I have got that answer. You follow that teaching which you got from Bhagwan. You don't need a guru. I feel like he has answered all the questions which you require, and he's there right in the Ramana ashram. You come, you have that feeling, you go to Dalai Lama, or you go to Tirupati, or you go to temple, or you go to Jesus, whosoever you go touch, you have that feeling of understanding, yeah, I'm more than that, this body, I'm more than this I, and I have you touch that. Bhagavan says I, right? So you touch that I ultimately. I'm not talking about ego. You touch that thing which through meditation or through mantra or somehow you see somewhere and you see, oh, Bhagavan, that's what it is, and that's what you touch it. So this is part 2 now. Now let's say if we the body conversation goes away actually, and then you start entering this this need to be in that zone. This zone, you are there only when you are around that ashram, or only around people who you think. I mean, I know we all know when our bodies are in good peaceful states, and when it's in that peaceful state, we know we want to be there, so we get attracted to that place again and again and again. That's why my body gets attracted to this place, God-forsaken place. But I keep coming back here. I suffer here, but ultimately I feel like this is the best place to come back to. So I just feel like so how do we not get attached to Thiru, or how do we not get attached to that feeling of that oneness and keep that oneness and become that oneness? Because I feel like that's the main second crux of the issue. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, first of all, I want to address what you said about Ramana. Ramana was the perfect teacher, was a great teacher, and as you said, he has answered all the questions. But it's also the same with teachers, the great teachers who came before him. There was Shankaracharya, let's say. Because Shankaracharya has come and given you the path, then why do we need Ramana? Right? Arunachala is there, then why do we need Ramana? Arunachala is a perfect teacher too, and a great teacher too, and answers all your questions in a different way. But just like even with all those teachers being there, there was Ramana. And then some people just couldn't grasp what Ramana was saying because somehow it didn't fit their soft spot, which I was talking about earlier. And then there was Papaji, and some people could access that soft spot through Papaji, and then said, "Oh, Papaji is a perfect teacher. Then why do we need others who came after him?" And then we can keep continuing this, saying that again here it's somewhat of an attachment to a teacher. Just because we like a teacher very much, and they are great teachers, and I have a lot of respect for Ramana, and I'm not saying I'm offering anything more than Ramana offered or anything, and that's not the point here at all. But as I was saying, everyone's path is different. Everyone's way to access enlightenment is different. And sometimes it's really helpful to offer something through a different perspective.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Different perspective is very important.
Yes.
But the question was not that.
Yes. I was just...
Let's come to the...
Yes, I was just answering the first part of what you said, because didn't want to let it go unaddressed. And the second part, which is what do you do with this yearning to come here, and how do you satisfy that? If you want to rephrase just the second part, so we can kind of address it.
So we established the problem. We tried to find the solution. And for me, my solution was that, okay, I have a guru. He has given me, he's not physically present. He's died or he's not there, but I still feel him. I resonate with him. He gave me the lot of answers, which I would not have got. I couldn't find anybody else. I looked. So then I learned about how to, keep my body calm. And then whenever I come here, my body is calm. Whenever I'm in Maharishi's presence, I'm in calmness. I go to my room, the calmness goes away. Obviously, when I go back home, I'm back to the same Murli I am, basically. And then the search begins. So I book my ticket again, and after 6 months, I come here. Same cycle keeps on going, actually. So for me, the current problem seems to be I have that calmness. I get to mix myself. I understand the peace. I understand the teaching also, but I don't have the lasting strength of it. It just leaves me. So I'm trying to see how can we keep that strength with us and go anywhere. It is there with me. That's why I keep coming back to Tiru. So that's the main question for me.
Okay. Yes, let's address that. So when we first find a guru, whether the guru is in their body or has left the body and still makes their presence felt through their teachings or through the place, the ashram, the energy, whatever you connect with. Just like you were saying how, I am Murali, I'm this many years old and I'm attached to my body. In the same way, once we find enlightenment in a guru or in a place or in an ashram, in the same way we are attached to our body, we become attached to that place, to that guru, to that concept even of what that is. And by That's why I spoke about the Guru Tattva, because that's one of the last attachments to overcome, is the attachment to the Guru as a form, as a name, as a particular being. Because you see that the Guru is an expression of enlightenment, which in this dream is your channel to access it. But that's not the only channel, because it's everywhere. It's in you. It's not in the ashram. When you go to the ashram, what responds in you and feels the peace, that is where it's at. When you go to the ashram, you feel the peace because that in your dream, that is the place that is your access point for it. But really, the ashram is a reflection. Ramana Maharshi is a reflection of the enlightenment within you, really. And the real deal is in here, in you, not in anything outside of you. And that's the whole point. That's what even Ramana said, right?
So how do we take it again and again? I mean, because I can't move here, doesn't matter. Even Maharishi never said that you have to move to Tiruvannamalai and then stay here, or he never said that you have to, abandon your kids or your responsibilities to come and stay with me, which I really like. Which I never understood, but now I understand why he said that. But I'm just trying to understand how to live a just life now, because ultimately my dichotomy, how people live that just life, right? So that they don't actually give up on their duties or whatever they are supposed to do, but still live a life which is pious, or sorry, not pious, but at least which is correct. That's the only reason why I feel like I have been given this human body to act. I just don't understand any other reason for me to have a human body except to have this just life, because I have this brain and I have been given this opportunity, I have, and good health, but somehow I don't want to waste it. Somehow I want to make something out of it and not waste my time into things which are non-productive. So let's talk, how do we get there? If we, understanding my situation right now, because I don't understand other people very well.
So what I see, this could be very different of how you see what is a just life, but what I see is that this human life is so precious that if you don't use it to find enlightenment, it's not really the best use of it. That's my understanding of the just life, because just to be on the same page.
The same thing, how do we get there?
Yes, and to get there, because you asked in your case, what I see is that you have found enlightenment outside of you, which is the first step, which is finding the Guru, what we talked about at length. Like, how do you find if that person is enlightened? So you're trying to find enlightenment outside of you so that you can internalize it. So you can find a model to follow so that you can follow that path and get to the same place as that model. Yes. So if you are following Ramana because you see that Ramana is enlightened and you hope to find the same what Ramana found at whatever level. May not be the full extent of what he is, but at some, extent what Ramana found. Right? So once you are at this stage where you have found enlightenment outside of you, and you are in this process of trying to find out how to internalize it. But
So I'm going to go deeper a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So let's go deeper here. Looks like a good crowd here. Okay. So we sit. I sit. I meditate. I sit, and I think about Bhagwan. I had amazing amount of thinking about him, and then there is the only way to access him is to actually sit and think about him, or to ask for guidance. I haven't found anything else, because a lot of people here seems to be. We're not going to get there. Just going to talk about myself. My problem was I also did not have a guru, and I heard a lot of people, but I found ultimately him, and all the questions I had, he has answered in his books or some place. He has answered those questions. My questions are all gone. The only way to touch that place where he says that you have to be is through meditation. I have found there is no other way to actually get there. If I don't meditate, if I don't do those practices, I lose touch. To get that touch back, I come here again and again, and I sit next to Bhagwan. I have that feeling. Bhagwan is right there. He's giving me diksha, and I'm totally great. The energy is coming. Everything is great. I don't believe in all these things, though I just feel it. If you don't believe it, that's fine too. It's okay. So let's say if you are having that feeling, and I'll come back to the part 2 of that question again. I cannot take this. I cannot put it in a box. I cannot put it in a pill. I'm trying to understand I'm trying to. I cannot crystallize it. Put it in a time box. Just cannot take it. The only internalization which happens is that when I sit quietly and not talk about it, so my question to you will be, again, let's talk about how do we get there, how do we stay there, and how do we enrich that uranium, right, which keeps on giving but doesn't go off. Because that fission reaction, once it has happened, I just don't feel like you will need you are happy all the time. That's the fundamental question.
So basically you're asking how to get enlightened, or how to internalize that enlightenment that you found, basically.
How to be happy?
How to be happy.
All the time.
All the time. That's how I started too. Yeah.
Being flowing.
In this moment, see that it's here. In this moment, even though you have a body, even though you know you're attached to it, and you were saying you were doing all these different things that you need to do as a person, even as you're doing it, not just when you're meditating, not just when you're here in Tiruvannamalai, try to see that what you have found here is always there. And for you to see that, the way to do it is to just for this small moment of time, temporarily let go of this concept of Murali, let go of this attachment to the body, and go into your heart space, into your core, in which all these, in a way, don't really matter, don't really touch you there. It's a different realm which coexists with all that is happening. It's a different realm which coexists with all that is seemingly happening. Even when things are unfolding, you're doing, or whatever roles you're playing is happening, there is no time in which what you have found, the enlightenment that you have found externally, that continues to exist. In fact, it is the basis of, it is the source of, it is essential to all this happening. If you, for now, let go of every thought that comes, take a deep breath. And again and again and again, every thought, every story that comes, which tries to convince you of you being Murali, of you being this body, of you having to take care of some responsibility, just for now, you can do all that later. But just for now, take a moment to not grasp any of it, not follow any of it. They will come, they will go in your space of awareness. But know that none of them are true. When you said you are attached to your body, it means that there is a system of stories which you have believed in, which makes you convinced that I am this body and I have to take care of it and I have to do all these things to satisfy it, etc. So just in this moment, don't rely on those system of thoughts. In this moment, every time any thought which comes with I, me, mine, which is every thought basically, just for this moment, don't analyze what I'm saying. We can talk later, we can analyze later. Just for this one moment, give me the benefit of the doubt and let go of all of that, and then you can find out for yourself. Take another deep breath and notice, because these thoughts, when you let go of the big thought, oh, I have to do of this, I have to take care of that, which comes with assumptions that I am this body, I am the doer, which has to do. When you let go of these bigger thoughts, then there are more subtle thoughts that come. And then they get subtler. And this is what I talk about, being on the surface, and all these thoughts are there. The roles and responsibilities thoughts. I am this, I am that thoughts. And then as you let go of them, you start sinking into your heart, into your core. You let go, you let go, you let go. The subtler thoughts you let go. You don't believe any of the assumptions behind these stories. The thoughts will come, they're okay. It's okay that there are thoughts, but if you don't follow them, if you don't give them energy, if you don't give them your power by believing in them, eventually you'll sink deeper and deeper. Let go, let go, let go. You come to a place where the thoughts somehow don't seem to matter anymore. And they don't have the charge that they had earlier. The charge which made you believe them so strongly, which you called attachment. And you come to a deeper place where they can't even reach you eventually. A thought comes and you see that immediately it's just a lie. And then you sink deep enough in a place where what I call the sanctuary in your heart. It's a place where you're free. It's a place where you can find the same peace that you find in the ashram. It's the place where you find the same presence that you find when you're sitting in front of Ramana in the meditation hall, no matter where you are. You'll get to a place in which none of this affects you. None of the things on the surface have any bearing on you at all. And that place is your true home. That place is what you find reflected in the ashram. That place is the true place that the ashram is pointing you towards. It's just that you forget, yes. And you can remember again and again what I ask you, if I may. Yes, again and again. With every single breath, let go. With every single exhalation, notice what you're holding on to and let go. The thoughts will try to pull you up. Something from the past will suddenly jolt you into, and you'll, this seems all real again. But again, let go. No matter how many times you're pulled back to the surface, you can let go. Again and again. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you right now on this chair that you will see this and you will realize it. But it might. Yes. Be open to that possibility. But often it takes doing it again and again because we have spent how many 40-ish years building that attraction towards the surface, building that attachment to the surface, building that attachment to the body, which brings up all these thoughts about the body, all these thoughts that you have to do this, do that, take care of all these responsibilities, which is completely okay, which you should do actually, but you can do that while being home. You never have to leave home. And once you've found your home, coming to the ashram, coming to Tiruvannamalai, you can still come here. But you
For me, it's all about lasting effects.
yes.
All practices has to lead to something.
Yes.
And It has to be a little bit more, like more happiness or more quietness for me. That's what Bhagwan has asked. He never asked lessen your work or whatever, but be very. If you are fruitful, if you're doing something, do, but just stay in that zone. And talking to you, I just got a very new perspective of looking at it. Like, go back to it again and again, and then you leave it, you come back again and do it, and that seems to be the only option. And then once after some time, maybe it'll stick, or if it doesn't stick, you come back to it again and again.
The way it sticks is that you don't separate meditation from life. We often do that. When we meditate and we find this peace and we're like, and then when you go back to doing things, you somehow get out of that. But meditation and life are not different. You can bring meditativeness into every single thing, every activity, every whatever field of life. And then you never have to stop meditating. You can speak from this place. You can walk from this place. You can eat from this place. Because this is where you already are and always have been, whether you have noticed or not. What I'm asking you to do, really, not to go somewhere, but by letting go of all the thoughts that convince you that you are somewhere else, by letting go of them, you can notice that you are here. You can notice that you are home. When you know you're at home, even if you're sleeping in your bed and if you visualize that you are in a dangerous place, your body can feel its effects. If you think fearful thoughts even in a perfectly safe space, your body reacts to it and feels as if something's wrong, even though there is nothing wrong. So realizing you are home, sleeping in your bed, and there's nothing wrong, lets you relax, lets you fall asleep. But if you believe you are this body, this mind, these thoughts, staying just on the surface, that belief itself makes you kind of, in that moment, appear to be bound, whereas you've always been free the whole time.
So it seems like a very stupid mistake, but happens again and again. Looks like that. I have come from multiple directions. I have come from astronomy to this point, from Buddha to this point, from Brahmana to this point. You always forget. I forget, and I lose my way again and again and again, and come to this point again and again. Hopefully one day it sticks. I mean, something. Yeah. I see that's the process. Looks like you keep coming back to the same thing again and again, but someday, hopefully, it sticks.
But I have to warn you there. If you say someday, hopefully, it sticks, you're giving loopholes for the ego to exploit that this someday will never come. This hope, this 4-letter word is very dangerous. So don't wait for someday. You're here right now. And all you have to do is come back to it right now, and that's all. There's no someday. And if you keep coming back just in this moment, you're free forever. Yeah, you're free for, if in this moment you do it again and again, you're free forever. So don't wait.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a question that really went to the heart of the issue, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for asking that. So beautiful. I get really excited when somebody asks a question like that. It's just it's very sincere, very practical, very it leads to the way. It's not something that's again a story trying to be satisfied. Which is also completely okay, you know. All the other questions are also very important. That may lead to an opening, that may lead to the next step. And they are all very important, but these questions really touch me. I have no idea what time it is. So, before we conclude, do we have any other burning questions that we need to address? Anybody wants to really ask something right now? Yeah, you've been going on and on for quite a long time. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your presence here. I'm truly honored. Namaste.